Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Miss B's Corner. Thank you for stopping by once again. I hope you're having a wonderful day. While you're here, if you could go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me, I'd really appreciate it. I know all of you don't usually listen to the whole video, so just trying to get my engagement up early. Well, as you can see, I'm in a different spot in my home today. In my dining room, there's a little bit more going on than normally. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go find another place to shoot. And it happens to be, I'm in coordination with my bedroom today. I have on black and white, and I have all this black and white in my bedroom, which is kind of strange. I looked, I was like, oh, I'm coordinated today with the bedroom. So I guess I was supposed to be in here. So today, what I'm going to discuss is the latest memorandum slash executive order that came out from the president on the 15th, which talks about some of the actions that they're going to take to make sure that um, illegal aliens and other ineligible people are not obtaining benefits under the Social Security Act. There is a belief that there are a lot of illegal aliens that are receiving benefits, and or they're people who shouldn't be receiving benefits that are being, that are receiving benefits. And this is a way of the administration's way of count clamping down on these particular activities, and a lot of it is directed toward the illegal aliens, but also it's going to be directed toward that group of people who are in the system as over 100 years old. So we'll get into it. And I will be reading again today. So I'm gonna try to go back and forth. Want you to kind of see my eyes, see me looking at you, looking at the camera, but also I will be looking kind of down and slightly over to my right because that's where my reading material is. So I'm not that great. I memorized a lot of stuff, but not enough to just to wing it. So basically, just background for those of you who may be new and who maybe don't know everything about the Social Security Department. The Social Security administers three programs under the Social Security Act. And they support the financial well being of over 70 million individuals. They have the old age and survivors insurance, which the old age is basically your Social Security benefits. After you reach the age of 62, you can start drawing the benefits, but majority of people may not start until they're 65. But that's what that is. And then it's the survivors benefits also that is classed there, where if your spouse passes and they've been paying into the Social Security system, the surviving spouse and or children can get a benefit from it because one of their what the breadwinner, has is deceased now, so they would be able to collect. And when this was first created, only one spouse was really working, and that was usually the male. So that is why they have that program for the surviving spouse and the children. Also, there's a disability insurance program, which is called SSDI, and it pays benefits to disabled workers and their families, as well as what it's called the Supplemental Security Income, which is SSI, and it supports some of the aged people, the blind and disabled individuals with limited incomes. So that's the main those are the main programs Social Security covers. So when they're talking about Social Security, they're talking about all of those programs. And also, uh, the Social Security Department helps administer some other federal and state agencies, including Medicare and Medicaid, among others. So, in the order, basically, it states that the Secretary of Labor, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and the Commissioner of the Social Security, um, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security, as necessary, shall take all reasonable measures consistent with applicable law to ensure ineligible aliens are not receiving funds from the Social Security Act program. So, and those are the programs that I just went over. Such measures shall include promulgating any necessary guidance or regulations regarding Social Security Act funds, and to the extent appropriate and consistent with laws, prioritizing civil and administrative enforcement actions against states, locality, or other similar guarantees or sub guarantees that do not take adequate measures to verify eligibility, stop payments to deceased or other ineligible payees, or otherwise prevent ineligible aliens from receiving funds from the Social Security Act programs. So basically, again, like I said in the beginning, there's this thing where they're saying that there's a lot of illegal people, illegal aliens, as they're referred to, are receiving Social Security benefits. There are, how can I say, if you're here illegally, you should not have an Social Security number. But there are some legal aliens who are here that do get issued Social Security numbers, mainly because um, they also are required to work. So they have a work permit. So once you have a work permit, you also need a Social Security number, because you have before, and that could be before you finish your getting your green card or anything. But if you have that work permit, you can work. And in order to work, you have to have a Social Security number. So, and I think a lot of that, they were saying like there were so many millions of people who have these Social Security numbers that appeared in the system, right after the pandemic, during the time where we had a large influx of people at the borders. So it's like, oh, so are these people getting Social Security number? And I think we're not understanding, but as we go through, you may understand it a little bit more. Okay, so, and a part of how they're going to ensure that people are not receiving the funds that they shouldn't be receiving. They will expand the Social Security fraud prosecutor programs, and I'll come back and explain that. Investigating earnings reports of people 100 years or older with mismatch records. We'll also come back to that. Considering reinstatement of Social Security, uh, civil monetary programs, and reinforcing program integrity measures so that only non-citizens who meet all eligibility requirements can receive benefits. I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot to turn off my Alexa. So whenever there's somebody out front, she's gonna tell me. So I apologize, and I didn't want to stop and get up. So what I'll probably do is, I think I'll go ahead and turn her off, And I might just edit this part out because Alexa, she gonna keep talking. I'm not quite sure how to help with that. Alexa, stop. I'm sorry. I turned off Alexa. See, this is the thing of doing a pre-recorded. I could get up and turn it off, and then you'll never know if I didn't say anything. I could just wipe her out, but I'll take out part of this. Um, okay, so as far as the expanding the Social Security fraud prosecutor programs, I think these are new programs that they're going to put in place. As I read this, it says full-time fraud prosecutors will be at least 50 United States attorneys' offices by October 1st, 2025. So they're going to, along with the Department of Justice and everyone, they're going to get together and they're going to put at least 50 um, under the state's attorney's office. There'll be at least 50 of them. And then with the Health and Human Services, that's for Social Security. For Health and Human Services, they will also be required to establish a similar fraud prosecution program, and they will have at least 15 people at least 15 attorney general offices by October 1st. And then also it says detainees and they'll also have people at 10 offices, 10 states attorneys offices whose jurisdiction encompasses the largest known population of illegal aliens as determined by the Secretary of Homeland Security. So what they're doing is, so the states that have the largest population of illegal aliens, and they're saying 10, and they're classifying that as 10 states. And I can tell you California, Florida, Texas, probably New York. I know 5, maybe Chicago, and not sure of a lot of the other states where there is a large population of illegal aliens, but those will definitely be places where they're going to put those special prosecutors in so that they can start this program of enforcing that these people, with illegals getting services that they shouldn't get, and they'll be working within those federal agencies and state and local agencies to stop them, and probably to get, I'm not going to say probably, but there may be a way that they probably may classify them because prosecutors. It's prosecutors, so they're actually committing the crime. So then they become criminals, and that's a way of deporting them. So that's my take on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that kind of is my take, that once they find you getting something illegal, even though you came in the country legally, or they're saying illegally, then you kind of committed a crime and you can get kicked out of the country for that. So, and going back to the 100 people, the people of over 100 years on the SSA records. So What happened was in 2023, the Inspector General of SSA did an audit report, and they said there's death information regarding millions of deceased number holders who are people who actually just were issued a social security number from the agency's file. They think that these people are deceased, but without information, they can't be marked as deceased in the records, which was a rule that Social Security has. So they're saying that that obstructs efforts to prevent and detect fraud and improper payments across the government with respect to executive departments and agencies that rely on Social Security information. And basically, they're saying that the Commission of Social Security shall fully implement the recommendations of the Inspector General's that audit report from 2023. And the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall cooperate with that particular report as well. Okay, one second, because I gotta change this so that I can see both. And I went and looked up the I didn't need that one anymore. I looked up the report. I went and looked up the report. So basically that report is basically, and if you've listened to Dr. Ed, you've heard this before. Ed Weir about the Numadent and all of that stuff. So basically, the background was the SSA matches death reports it receives from various sources against its payment records and records dates of death in the Numadent, which is their number, which is an electronic file that contains personally identifiable information for each person issued a social security number. So you know that's a large file. SSIA uses numerous information to create its full file of death information we refer to as the full death master file, and shares the death master file as authorized with federal benefit paying agencies. So, and you know, anybody, VA, IRS, anybody that's Medicare, Medicaid, anybody that's paying out a death benefit, you know, some type of a benefit, they share their records. It says in our March 15th, our March 2015 review of the number holders of 112 years or older who did not have a death entry on the file, we found SSA had not established controls to annotate the death information on the numerate records of 6.5 million number holders who exceeded maximal reasonable life expectancies. So basically, what they're saying is there's a lot of people out there that don't have a death record, and so that's what the order also is talking about, that they need to go back and investigate those files for those people who are over 100 who we feel like are not we know there's not that many that are 100 that should still be collecting benefits. Now, nowhere in this report does it say all 3 point or 6.5 million people age 112 or older are collecting a benefit. It just basically says that that's how many are there. And it also talks about the time of that review in 2015. The Census Bureau estimated approximately 86,000 individuals residing in the U.S. were aged 100 or older. So Yeah, and basically the Numidian included approximately 18 million number holders who were born in 1920 or earlier but had no death information in their record. So basically what Dr. Ed says, basically they went through, they found all this information out, and he's saying it's been several years since they found it, but I think the Social Security Department, when it was found, what it was they needed to do a cost benefit analysis to say, is it cost effective to go in and work these files and just mark the people as being deceased. Number one, because the this is not the file that they use to pay out of. They have a different file where they actually pay the benefits from, and this is not the file. So that is why the Social Security Department, already being understaffed for so long, did not decided that it wasn't cost efficient to go in and work on those millions of files when they have millions of uh, live, beneficiaries that they're trying to approve disability claims for, regular spouses claims, and so on and so forth. So they were going to use their workforce to tackle those particular files until they could find some type of automated way to just close out a lot of those files. And I also think, according to Dr. Weir, that it was against the congressional Congress said, no, you can't do it that way. So I think Congress may have to be the ones that says this is how, even though the president issued that order, because it's under Congress, Congress would still have to kind of issue the order saying, hey, you can go in and close out these particular files. Now there is a lot of there's another the other issue is that there's what they call a suspense file, where let me read it, let me find it, because I couldn't copy that one on my notes, but and it's right here. Okay, so basically the article goes in to say that accuracy in reporting number holder information is critical because SSA and other agencies rely on information to verify employment eligibility, ensure wage reports are processed, and terminate payments to deceased beneficiaries. Accuracy in recording workers' earnings is critical because SSA calculates benefits payments based on individual earnings over their lifetime. As such, properly assigning SSN numbers only to individuals authorized to obtain them, protecting Social Security information once a excuse me, I'm sorry, once SSA assigns the number, ensuring number holder information is complete in its system, and accurately posting earnings reports under Social Security numbers are critical. So basically, it says a specific challenge to ensuring earnings are posted accurately is employers that report earnings information incorrectly to so SSA cannot match the reported earnings to individuals in its records. The earning suspense file contains wage reports on which wage earners' name and social security numbers fail to match SSA records. So the earning suspense file has accumulated since 1937 through 2022 $2.1 trillion in wages since that particular time. Those are files that are suspended because the social security number and the names of the people who they were reported under did not match in the system. And these are wages or earnings like W-2s that are submitted by employers. So we know, and most of us know what that is. There are some people, of course, that they're here illegally, they want to work. So they go ahead, they get a social security number, and that social security number is not assigned to them, but they're working under it. And the employees are in cahoots also. So where they say people are, if somebody like didn't, um, verify that the person is supposed to be working under that benefit, under that number, I feel like those employers also are going to be held responsible for making sure that all of the information is accurate. And they do have ways of verifying it. So, of course, there are people who need the workers and they're cutting corners and not verifying all the way. But there are, things that you can verify. And I know definitely because when you get a job now, you have to fill out the I-9 report and all that stuff. So I don't think back in the day they did that, but now you really have to do that. Said SSA does not use wage items in the earning suspense file to determine number holders' eligibility for or other amount of Social Security benefits. A wage item returns in the earning suspension file until SSA can identify a valid name/Social Security combination to post onto the workers' earning records. So basically, yeah, it's saying it's grown a lot, but that particular file has grown a lot. And of course, the reason why it's grown is because of a lot of people not verifying the information. And they have in here, it says basically one of the recommendation was to improve wage recruiting by informing employees about potential social security number misuse current cases, identifying and resolving reporting problems, re-examining the validity and integrity checks used to prevent suspicious W-2s from being posted, encouraging greater use of SSA's employee verification program, and reviewing how best to remove more wage items from the earner's suspension file. So basically, those are some of the actions that are being that have already been implemented, and they're working on, as well as what's going on with the order that the president signed yesterday. And like I said, I mean, there is proof that there are people who are out here working that are under Social Security, and they're using false Social Security numbers because they're working. But to say that but the Social Security Department is saying, hey, they may be working, but they are not receiving benefits. Now, I'm sure they'll look deeper into the Medicaid, because Medicare is 65 and older. So I'm not sure how you get 65 and older and start getting Medicaid if you don't have a valid work history. and you're not eligible to receive your old age benefit. But and that's your 20 credit. You have to have that 20 or 40 credits. I forget which one. But as far as Medicaid, because most of those are administered by the state, there may be people who are illegal who have gotten Medicaid benefits as well as food stamps and different, things like that that are programs that people can get who have limited income or low income. Now, those may be programs where they can, cut some of those, but the 100-year-olds, I'm thinking there may be a different way to deal with the 100-year-olds also. But I don't think nobody ever said that there were a bunch of people 100 years old that are getting checks. It's a lot of people that are over 100 years old that are listed in the system, but that's not the system where they're getting checks. I wish they would tell us which the system that the people that where we're sending out band benefits, how many people in there are over 100, and that would kind of help clear it up, because you don't want people to go after the shiny object, so to speak. You're just going after that shiny object just because that is the most sensationalized thing. And they came out with that one first. Elon Musk and his team came out. It's like, oh, well, all of these people are over 100 and they're getting benefits, but they're not really getting the benefits. So I can understand the alien thing, where we should do something to kind of make sure that they are, that people who are eligible to receive benefits are receiving benefits. And if you haven't stopped them or done something to stop it, then that is, on you. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to do to the employers who are reporting wages for people who don't match the system, and that they haven't done their due diligence to make sure that these people are eligible to even work in the United States. So that's another thing. Those are the kind of things that I would think that we would go after first, instead of going over people 100 years old, which is not that many. Um, but that's all I have today. It was a lot to unpack today. Social Security, like I said, for some odd reason, it's a hot topic. So we got to watch out for it, because it's a hot, hot topic. And I can go and see what else I can find. There was a lot of information. I've been reading all morning trying to find information, because there's so much in that one little order that the president signed. So I definitely had been reading and trying to get an understanding of what these things were and what they are, what's going on. Again, like I said, I try not to give you clickbait. My title might be a little clickbaitish, but the information on the inside isn't. That's because I need you to click on it and get the information. And again, I try to give you the information that is listed in the press release, and I'll go and find some of the information that are in different reports that it refers to, so that we all get an understanding of what this is we're talking about, because most of us don't know very much about Social Security. I'm almost becoming an expert. I kind of need to go apply for a job, even though I'm retired. I need to go apply for a Social Security job, because I'm learning a lot about Social Security now. But that's just my nature. I like to learn. So, but anyway, here I go. I'm going. But again, I thank everyone for stopping by. I hope you lasted this long in the video. If you have, please, please like, subscribe, and share with others. If you can't share the video, share the information, because that is definitely where we all win if we're sharing information. Continue to call your senators using that 5 calls app to complain about things that you don't understand that may affect you. Um, and all of that. One day, I can't even go over all the changes that have been done in the last month. I was going to try, but I'll still maybe try one day to kind of list them out and go over them. But just hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you next time.